The Novak Djokovic saga has heated up in recent days, and the fallout doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. Currently unvaccinated, the defending champion has been embroiled in an ongoing argument surrounding his visa status, and Tennis Australia have also recently been slammed for their handling of the situation and statement, which fans and critics alike have panned. Today, we are discussing everything you need to know about the whole affair, so stay tuned. First up, what happened and what was in the statement. The Aussie Open started earlier this week, but there was no Novak Djokovic in sight to defend his 2021 title. The Serb was finally sent home after being in the middle of a will they, won't they deportation saga with Australian authorities. Tennis Australia, the sport's governing body on the island, addressed the situation on Tuesday night, even if they didn't mention Djokovic by name. Djokovic had revealed he was under the impression he was allowed to travel to the country to defend his title, even though he isn't vaccinated, as he had a medical exemption. The board and member associations commend the Tennis Australia CEO Tiley and the entire Tennis Australia team for their hard work and dedication to delivering a spectacular summer of tennis. The statement read, "As the Australian tennis family, we recognize that recent events have been a significant distraction for everyone, and we deeply regret the impact this had on all players." The statement went on to say that they wouldn't review their process and preparation, as there are obvious lessons to be learned from the situation, which will begin as soon as the trophies have been lifted. They went on to talk about the proud tradition Australian tennis has, and you can't really argue with that. You just have to look at names like Rod Laver, Leighton Hewitt, Pat Rafter, and Cash. Who is your favorite Aussie player of all time? What was the response to the statement then? Well, it wasn't great, to be fair. The wording left a lot of people confused, and some of the biggest names in the tennis world have come out to criticize Tennis Australia. One of the main criticisms was the fact that it came across as too vague and was lacking any real substance. Host of the NCR Tennis podcast, Ben Rothenberg, questioned why they had released a statement about a situation that had been a distraction for the whole of the tennis world in the middle of Andy Murray's fourth set of his first round match, a match which fans would have been dying to see, by the way, as it was the Scots' first performance of the tournament in 3 years. Fair enough, right? Martina Navratilova, who won 18 Grand Slam titles throughout her epic career, also questioned the content of the statement, alluding to the fact that it was largely pointless, and we would tend to agree with the Czech. "I think it's one word short of word salad. It doesn't tell me anything at all. Really, that is just so blah. Why bother? Why bother?" she said. Hilarious. And the criticism didn't stop there. Tennis reporter John Wertheim had this to say, claiming that the timing was a little odd. He questioned why they didn't just release the statement a week previously when all eyes were on the situation. "We think the criticism following the statement has largely been warranted, and that Tennis Australia really didn't cover themselves in glory." What else has been said then? Stay tuned to find out. The tennis world really went to town on the Aussie governing body, and 2000 female champ Lindsay Davenport also chimed in on the situation, basically saying the statement was a joke. She said they were forced to say something, so they said basically nothing in the statement, suggesting they were just looking for some sort of credit for finally offering any sort of explanation. There was also a suggestion that the reason the statement had taken so long to materialize was down to legal eagles. Because lawyers, there will be lawyers, said Steve Weissman, who you might know from the Tennis Channel. Something else fans and critics found strange was the fact that Tennis Australia boss Craig Tiley's name was nowhere near the statement. Journalist Tracy Holmes picked up on this and tweeted that it was strange he hadn't been mentioned by name. Tiley had claimed the organization had been working hard to get to the bottom of the rules and whether or not Djokovic could stay, but also said there had been a lot of conflicting information surrounding the case. Australia has been criticized for their concentration camp-like tactics by some recently, which made it extremely hard to enter or exit the country. Like, they have a ton of things that can kill you down there, guys. Surely it's not that great, right? We're joking, our Aussie friends. What do you make of the whole Djokovic affair? Let us know your thoughts below. The judges involved in deporting Djokovic have spoken out today. Stay with us to hear what they had to say. When Novak Djokovic was controversially kicked out of the country last week, the decision was down to 3 judges who had heard the case, and they have recently spoken out about their justification for kicking out the defending champ. They claimed Immigration Minister Alex Hawke had not acted irrationally when sending Djokovic home, as he posed a risk to public health and order. They also claimed Djokovic's presence in the country could be used to spark anti-vax protests, which would only aid to spread the virus, something which the country has been pretty hard on. When pushed for more information, they said the tennis star could have an influence on people who are unsure whether or not to get the vaccination, something which is surely their prerogative whether or not Djokovic is there. I mean, what happened to freedom of thought? The court held the final ruling after the star had appealed the decision of the immigration minister, but failed to find any reasonable problem with the decision to deport Djokovic. New rules in the Southern Hemisphere state that all new entries to the country must be fully vaccinated, which has come in for criticism from many people, not just in the tennis world. A previous COVID infection for the Serbian was cited as why he would be exempt, which makes sense as he now has antibodies, which also protects people from being reinfected. What have the Serbians said then? Well, as you might imagine, they're not particularly happy at the treatment of one of their citizens by a foreign government, who also happens to be one of the most beloved citizens in the country. The Serbian Prime Minister, Ana Brnabić, even spoke out on the issue this week, calling his treatment scandalous. She went on to say she doesn't know why he's vaccinated, but maybe she hasn't been paying attention. He has antibodies, which will protect him for the same amount of time as one dose of the vaccine does. She also said she doesn't believe he's an anti-vaxxer, but even if he is, again, that's surely his prerogative. She said he supports the vaccination of those people who want to be vaccinated, so I am not perceiving him as an anti-vaxxer. If the vaccine actually protected people from passing on the virus, then we would understand the stance of people who are criticizing him, but it doesn't. So until a vaccine's rolled out that gives people full protection and stops them transmitting the virus, surely it's his choice as to whether or not he gets it. There's also more than one way to skin a cat. There is still no word on whether or not Djokovic will be banned long-term from the country, but under Australian law, he can be banned for up to 3 years. But it was also said recently that each application for a visa will be reviewed upon its own merits. Do you think vaccines should be mandated? Let us know below. And finally, news of Rafael Nadal's return to form. 35-year-old Spaniard Rafael Nadal has opened the current season in blistering form and cruised into the Australian Open fourth round earlier today after putting Russian player Karen Khachanov to the sword. The 20-time Grand Slam winner, yes, 20, has opened up his tournament sensationally and has so far only dropped one set, beating Germany's Yannick Hanfmann and American Marco Chiron. It is the 15th time Nadal has reached the fourth round of the Australian Open, and he's looking really good so far down under. With Novak Djokovic's expulsion from the tournament and country, which may well be the Spaniard's last shot at the Australian Open title, which the Serb has dominated for the better part of the last decade. Nadal's last title at the Rod Laver Arena came in 2009, unbelievably. When interviewed on court after his third-round win, he said, "It's a very special week for me, coming back. Every single time I'm able to play here is very special. Tonight I played against a great player and a good friend on tour. It was my best match since I've come back, without a doubt." If he does go on to win in Melbourne, it would be a record-breaking 21st Grand Slam title, as he, Federer, and Djokovic are all currently sitting on 20 wins each. What a past 2 decades this has been for men's tennis, with these 3 involved. As always, thanks for tuning in today, and remember to pop back next time for some more revelations. Also, why not share this with any tennis enthusiasts you know of? Bye, guys.